Alright guys, today we're working on this Ps4 console. The model number reads CUH-1002A. Now the problem with this console we're having is the controller disconnects. So the Bluetooth controller, when you're nearby the controller, the console with the controller like this, and you're playing the game, the console is working fine and it's responding the way it should be. But if you're at a distance of 1 meter or 2 meters or 3 meters, the controller does become disconnected and it doesn't respond, so therefore it becomes laggy. So I'll show you how to fix this. Very simple, easy fix, and it doesn't take that long to do it either. So what we'll do is we'll power the console on, and then I will show you what it actually does. Then I'll pull it apart and then I'll show you how to fix it. So we'll go ahead and power this on. We'll plug the USB cable in, and then we'll power this on. And just bear with me so I can position you a little bit better. Okay, so I've got you facing the monitor now, so it's asking me to plug in the Ps4 controller, so we'll go ahead and do that. So now we are into the main screen. So right now we have the controller plugged in and everything's working fine as it should be. So what I'll do is I'll disconnect this and then I'll move back. So I'm right next to the console right now, so everything's working fine. I'll move back, say about 1 meter, and let's see what it does. So we're about 1 meter away, so it's working okay. Okay, so we're about 2 meters away now. Okay, so I'm pressing the controller, it doesn't really work. So if I move a little bit closer, yep, so it works here. And it's laggy, so I'm pressing it. No response, so now it responds. So we'll go 2 meters back, 3 meters back. We'll try here, nothing. So we'll come in closer. Pressing, so 2 meters, at 1 meter, yeah, there we go. So when we're near the console, it's fine. But whatever way, so what we'll do is we'll turn this console off, and then we'll pull it apart, show you where the problem is, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull this console apart. So we'll turn the power off, unplug all of our cables. And obviously this console's been opened previously. Now there's a little story behind this. This console came in from a customer, and he described it as it wouldn't turn on, so no power, no nothing. And so we changed the power supply, so we put a warranty sticker on and changed the power supply, and everything booted up fine. And when we proceeded to power the system on, it came on, but we had the blue light of death, and so the console wouldn't. That blue light of death is when the blue light is constant pulsing slowly, but it doesn't boot up to the white light. It's just constantly on that blue light. So we rebuilt the APU, we got the system running, and console ran. It was good. We delivered it back to the customer, and then 2 weeks later the customer comes back and he's damaged the HDMI port. So we replaced the HDMI port, gave it back to him, and he said that a week later he came back and he said, hey look, I need another HDMI port, it's broken again. So we at that stage said that, hey look, I think it's best for us to sell you another refurbished console with warranty. That way it saves you in the long run of not spending too much money trying to repair consoles. So we sold him that, so we bought this console off him, and since then it's given endless amounts of problems. So changed the HDMI port, everything was fine. Then we tested it, stress tested it, and we found that there was no image. So there was no image on the monitor. So we found that the HDMI encoder IC was damaged or dead. So we changed that, we got the image back, and then 2 weeks later testing it, we found that the HDMI port crapped out again. So changed the HDMI port. And so we got it going, and so it's like this console is, or it has rather, endless amounts of faults. So now we've got the new fault of the controller disconnecting. So what we'll do is we'll have a look where it is. So what I'm looking at is, we'll start off with the basic stuff. So we will look at this here. So this is your antenna for your Bluetooth as well as your Wi-Fi. So we'll have a look at this first. So you saw me removing these screws here, and that's for the power supply. So if we just get in a little bit under here, pry it up on this side, this comes off. So this is your power supply, that puts aside, and we have a look in here. So that cable runs all the way from up here, all the way down here, behind this, and it connects over here. So we'll get you a little bit of zoom. Yep, and we will have a look at this cable here, and see if we can identify what's wrong with it. So you'll need to wiggle it a little bit, get it out of its socket. Be careful, don't pull it too much. And we'll have a look at this connector first. So that connector, so that connector there is what I'm having a look at. And if we have a look at this, so we'll get you a bit more zoom. So if we have a look at this, okay, so we notice how that little piece there, but there's nothing on that side. Okay, so that means this has been this is damaged. So can you see that? So notice if there's another piece there, what you could do is squeeze those two pieces together a little bit and then put it back onto the board, into this area here. So that little piece goes on top of that little bit there in the center and clamps that, and then the outside just clamps it to ground, I think it is. So this one's missing. So I've got one here, so we'll show you the difference. So this one here is the new one. So you notice how it's got two pieces inside, and this one here doesn't have one on the other side. So if we see, if we give you a side-by-side comparison, yeah, so you see that, see how one of them doesn't have it. Yep. So what we'll do is we'll remove this one out of the console, and then we'll replace it with this. These can be found on AliExpress or eBay for a small fee. I think it's $4 or something like that. So I just pulled this out of one of my older consoles, damaged board, which I could salvage some parts from. So get you back out of zoom. So we'll go ahead and remove this. So this is a T9 security Torx that I'm using, and there's a screw here. Just remove that. This comes off, and then we will put this aside so we don't get it mixed up. Grab our new one. So there's the old one, there's the new one. We'll mount this on. So hopefully this console does not have any further problems. Yeah, so unfortunately this is what this console has, is endless amounts of faults. And it was good that we sold a new refurbished console to the customer, as it was saved him a lot of hassle from chasing back and forth and repairing it all the time. So reroute this into, so there's two little ears here, these ones here. So this goes behind that, through that, and there's a little tab here that you can connect it onto. So that goes there, and then this one here can just clip on like that. So make sure that's secure, and that's pretty much it. So we will put this back on, screw this down, So these two go over here. So yeah, sometimes it happens with consoles like that, if it's not being treated right. This one was very badly dust logged, so there was dust all over the place, inside the power supply, inside the board, inside the disk drive. So this had a lot of hair and pet hair rather, and it had you know, it was sitting on carpet, so it had all that carpet grit and dust attached to it. So we'll put this together and we'll power it up. We'll see how we do. So it's a very simple fix, easy, short, simple. So we'll grab our base. Whoops, forgot to plug this in. So we'll plug this in. Yep. And we will, oops, sorry, hit the camera. Here we are. So we will plug our power in, put the HDMI in, okay, turn it on. Okay, so we powered the console and on. I'll reposition you on the monitor. So wait for it to boot up. And press this. Okay. Okay. Now I'm right next to the console. And so this works here. Now I'll move back about a meter. Yep, still works. Now I'll move back 2 meters. Yep, so it still works. Now I'll move back at least 3 or 4 meters. Yep, so it still works. And now I am at 4 meters. So yep, so it's working. So we'll now I'm at 2 meters, and now I'm right next to the console. So there you go. So that was the simple fix. We will turn the console off, and that was it. So that's as simple as that. We will show you what I replaced. Okay, so remember, just to recap, what we did was we replaced this antenna for the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi. So we look at this connector in here, we find that it is damaged. Okay, trying to get you some zoom. Yep, so we have a look inside that connector. It's pretty much damaged. Trying to get you into focus. So there's a little clip inside here that's missing. It's very hard to see. It's quite tiny. And if the 2 clips are there, then what you could do is just squeeze them together with a little pin and put it back on, and that should fix it. If not, then you'll need to replace this antenna. It can be found on eBay. It can be found on AliExpress for a small fee. And you can fix your console if you're having this Bluetooth disconnection issue with this. If it is not, then there is a chip on the motherboard which is responsible for the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth, which you need to either rework, reball, or replace the whole chip. So hopefully this has helped somebody out there, and thank you for watching.